Hey everybody, Ben Goessling from the Star Tribune with this week's Vikings Big Question. While the Vikings win on Sunday at Soldier Field in overtime, Sam Darnold throws for 330 yards, which was a season high. They end up with 114 yards from TJ Hockenson, most of that coming in the fourth quarter in overtime. And Jordan Addison has a career high with 162 yards, also to go with Aaron Jones, becoming the second Vikings running back under Kevin O'Connell with multiple 100-yard games. Well, the piece that's missing in all of this, of course, is Justin Jefferson, and that is today's Vikings Big Question. It's really a two-parter. Number one, how often are teams going to continue to play Jefferson the way we saw the Bears do on Sunday? And number two, how is Jefferson feeling about all of this? I think the first part of this is going to be interesting to watch after we saw the Vikings do what they did against the Bears, because that sends the message that if you want to cover Jefferson the way that everybody has, putting two, sometimes three defenders on him and basically routing your whole defense towards taking him out of the game, the Vikings showed on Sunday there is a cost to pay for that. They found open throws to Jordan Addison. They hit them some things downfield when coverage was nailing down on Jefferson. They hit throws to Hockenson on the backside. They were able to run the ball. They did a lot of the things that would seem to make teams say, we're not going to keep covering Justin Jefferson this way. We have to pivot off of this. And yet you see teams like the Bears continue to go back over and over to double teams, playing him awfully physically, knocking him down at times, hoping they don't get called on it, which I think worked for the Bears on Sunday. But it is going to be very interesting to watch. If the Vikings can execute to this level, it should at some point get teams to say, we're not going to do this. We're not going to die on this hill. We're going to have to spread coverage around. So if it doesn't happen soon, I think it's fair to say that everybody is just so worried about Justin Jefferson and so focused on taking him out of the game that they are willing to take their lumps with everything else. And certainly that works for the Vikings, but there is this question of how you keep Jefferson copacetic with the whole thing. He has done a lot of the right things. You see him making plays on the backside where he'll block or congratulate teammates if things go right, but there are some moments of frustration, and I think you saw a little bit of this on Sunday after the game. Andrew Kramer talked with Jefferson in the locker room, and certainly the coverage he's seeing, the fact that he's not getting the ball, the fact that he's getting covered as physically as he does get to him. And Kevin O'Connell talked about this a little bit on Monday, basically saying, it's my job to create as many footballs as I can. Said that a little bit tongue-in-cheek because, of course, there is only one, but he does have to balance this, where you have a player that is paid as the best non-quarterback in the NFL, is expecting to go to the Hall of Fame, is playing on a trajectory that should get him there, that wants the ball, and has shown he is the focal point of this offense when he can get it. So O'Connell said it's a matter of reminding Jefferson about the pass interference calls that he draws, or the things that can happen for other people as a result of him drawing as much coverage as he does. But I think it's this ongoing conversation of making sure that he knows that they're doing everything he can to get in the ball, and then probably trying to find ways to continue to manufacture touches for him, which I think they probably could do a little bit more of in coming weeks. We haven't seen as much of the motion stuff. We haven't seen as much of them trying to scheme free releases for him. So it will be interesting to see if they can do some of that on Sunday, when Budda Baker and the Cardinals are going to have some coverage mechanics for Jefferson, I'm sure, similar to what we have seen. So this ongoing effort to make teams pay for covering Jefferson this way, and also keep Jefferson involved and keep him on board with everything, is, I think it's just a balancing act. The Vikings have done a lot of the right things, and Jefferson, I think, has had a healthy perspective on this overall, but as competitive as he is, it's a balancing act, and it's this give and take of understanding that this is good for the team, even if it's frustrating for him in the moment. So lots to keep an eye on there, and we'll have more coverage of that later this week with Mark Craig taking a deeper dive on how the Vikings walk this tightrope with Jefferson and just the way that he's getting covered. So lots more there, lots more heading into the Vikings' return home for a potential playoff preview with the Cardinals. Make sure you check out all of our work at the Star Tribune. And thanks for listening to this week's Vikings Big Question. Have a great week.